So, in most industries, there are market leaders. Those with the high market share who have. So here, now let's quickly look at why the market is not perfect. It is a perfect competition where we have large numbers of buyers and sellers. But in these buyers and in these sellers, part of those sellers, we have market leaders. Those that control the largest market share. So because there are some group of businesses that control the largest share, makes the market not perfect. If we say we have 10 firms in the industry, firm A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. These are the firms in the industry. They are supposed to have equal share in the market. That makes it a perfect market. But in this industry, firm A, B, and C has the largest market share. So if this occurs, then it means the market is not imperfect. It means these three firms have a competitive edge over the rest of the firms in the industry. That is what the first one is. They said in most industries, they are market leaders. So these are market leaders. In as much as we have a market leader in the industry, then the industry is not a perfect market.
What's the market leader in here?
What?
Is there a market leader in India?
Well, let's take schools as example. We have different schools in Tripoli, right? Yeah, which makes the educational industry a perfect market, right? But it's not perfect because there are some schools that have large numbers of students. There are some schools that have equipment that other schools don't have. There are some schools that they have things that other schools don't have, which give them edge over others. Do you understand? So this is what we're talking about. There are some schools that are huge. There are some schools that are, middle. There are schools that are low level. So they don't have the same competitive advantage. Some has more competitive advantage than others. So that makes this industry an imperfect market. Is it clear?
Yes.
So the first one, so characteristics of an imperfect market now. The imperfect condition it occurs where the features of
Can you get the mask?
okay. It occurs when the features of a perfect. Just give a mask and that's all. It occurs when the features of a perfect competition does not reflect in the industry. Just recall it. Competition. So please look at the board. What is an imperfect competition? I said an imperfect competition occurs where the features of a perfect competition does not reflect in the industry called a perfect competition. We call this industry a perfect market. But it is not a perfect market because the characteristics attributed to a perfect market is not in this market. Is it clear? So examples now. Features of an imperfect market. Features of an imperfect market.
Mister, does not, you mean like A, B, and C are not in perfect competition, the rest are.
This is a perfect competition. But in as much as we have A, B, and C as a market leader,
Yes.
then it is imperfect. So having a market leader, stop right here please. Look at what I said. Having a market leader in a perfect competition, as this implies that some of the firms control the largest market share in the industry. So it makes it not a perfect market. I think it's clear.
Yes.
Two, it said, in reality, barriers to entry exist in virtually all markets. For example, there may be legal entry barriers to some industries, such as the professional qualification needed to practice law and medicine, or the high setup cost to enter to that market, such as airline and pharmaceutical industry. So, two, yeah, we said in a perfect market, there is lack of barriers to entry in the perfect market. That means you can start, anybody can start the business. Any firm, anyone willing to start up the business can start it up. But in real sense, is it easy to start up businesses? No. So that means it is difficult to start up a business. Maybe because of the legal requirement or the cost of startup. Like we said, the educational industry is a perfect market. But does it look perfect? Is it really easy to start up a school? No. The requirements needed to start up a school are so numerous. So which makes it not easy for people to start up schools. So that makes it not a perfect market. Do you understand? Because we said a perfect market must lack barriers. But we look at it as a perfect market, but it is not. Because to start up this market, to start up a firm in this industry, it's going to cost us a lot. To start up a firm in this industry, it needs a lot of requirements, legal requirements. Do we understand? So the second one is, this is barrier, there is barriers to entry, as there might be legal requirements needed or a high startup cost. So it makes it difficult to start up in this market, in this industry. And we say it is a perfect one. It is not, because it is not easy to start it up, to start up in that industry. I think it's clear. So look at the third one, please. Stop right at this. The third one, we said in a perfect market, there is symmetric information. That means no one is lacking information. There is no information gap in a perfect market. But in this perfect market we're talking about, consumers and sellers might not have deep knowledge about the product. You will be keeping information from your rivals. I will be keeping information from you, you will be keeping from me. Because this information that I keep will give me a hedge ahead of you. So, are you getting what we're talking about here? So, consumers might not have deep knowledge about the products. Producers will keep information from each other. Because when you allow everyone to know about your information, they might use it against you. And you're talking about a fierce competition here. You're talking about a market that is highly competitive. So information is what we sell. So we feel information is more important and precious to us. So we don't give it all to customers. We don't give it all so that competitors or rivals do not see them and use it against us. So that means it is possible not to have deep knowledge about the product. Do you understand the third one here? The fourth one, we said in a perfect market, they produce homogeneous products, right? But most of the time, we think of our unique selling points, our USP. And when we talk about unique selling points, that means our product or our service must be differentiated from that of the rivals. So it means the perfect market we're talking about might produce differentiated products. Do you know what I'm talking about here? A perfect market produces homogeneous products. What are homogeneous products? Products that are of the same usage or similar in usage. And that makes it a perfect market. But the perfect market we're talking about, we still think about a USP, a unique selling point. Even as much as we think of unique selling points, we have to differentiate our product from that of our competitors. So in the course of differentiating our products from that of our competitors, we produce differentiated products. This is a school. It has its own system. There's other schools, there are other schools, they have their own system. That means in the schools, in the educational industry, we have different systems that each school uses. Is it the same again? No. So that means we call it a perfect, but they provide differentiated products. Some said there's a Canadian system, some said there's a British system. Even the British system has different curriculum. There's Edexcel, there's Cambridge. Do we understand? So each school starts to find a way of differentiating itself from other schools. But in a perfect competition, they are supposed to produce the same products or almost the same products. So there's differentiated products now. Banks, they provide different services. Bank A services will be different from Bank B services. At the end of it all, it might still lead to you going to be their customer. But the way they're going to package it is going to be differentiated. Okay. Do we understand? Okay. So it is likely that products are differentiated in a perfect market. So if products are differentiated and we call it a perfect market, it becomes an imperfect market. Is it clear? Yes. Because there's an increased competition in the perfect competition. Here we want to talk about pricing and output policies in the perfect competition. In a perfect competition, there is increasing competition. So as a result of this, it means a lot of firms will be producing homogeneous products, which means in a perfect market, the supply curve will shift rightward from Q1 to Q2, from S1 to S2. As a result of that, the price will fall from P1 to P2. Do you understand? So in a perfect competition, there is increasing output as a result of firms producing almost the same product. So which means the quantity supplied in this market will be outward to the right. Is it clear? So we can represent it. Okay, I'm just going to write it. I'll draw the graph. We can write this in a perfect competition. So please look at the graph here. Stop right at this. So we said in a perfect competition, there's an increasing level of output as a result of firms producing homogeneous products, which means the prices fall and demand increasing. It can be graphically represented as this. So in a perfect competition, this is a perfect competition. So the quantity and the price here. So because it's a perfect competition, supply curve will shift rightward from S1 to S2. It's going to be a rightward shift because there are a lot of producers in a perfect competition. We have more producers, large producers, large numbers of consumers in a perfect competition. So when we have large numbers of consumers or producers, it means our output will increase. So the quantity supplied will move outward from S1 to S2. Do you understand? The supply curve will shift rightward from S1 to S2. And the quantity supplied will be what? Q1 to Q2. So if the quantity supplied is Q1 to Q2, what happens to price of products in a perfect competition? It will fall from P1 to P2. Because in a perfect competition, they are price takers. Do you understand? In the perfect competition, they are what? Price takers. No, it's not elastic. They are price takers. So why do you call them price takers? They work on the market for demand and supply. Do you understand? They work on the market for demand and supply. So when the price is less, it's only when customers will want to buy more.
Yes.
Do you understand? So they understand that they have to sell at a lower price to attract customers. So that's why we call them price takers. Is it clear? But most of the time, when we have market leaders, it means whatever they want to sell, these people decide the price. Do you know what I'm talking about here? If we have 3 firms in out of 10 firms that are market leaders, they will be the one deciding the price of the product. So that means they decide the price, others follow. Do you get it? So they are no more price takers, rather they are price makers. So in an imperfect market, they are what? It makes them what? Price makers. Which is not supposed to be. They are supposed to be what? Price taker. How do they become price taker? It's not that customers will tell them the price at which they have to sell. No. But they have to sell at a price that is affordable for customers. Is it clear? So in a perfect competition, the pricing and output policy is this. The output policy means the output will increase. The supply curve will shift rightward from S1 to S2, making the quantity supplied expand from Q1 to Q2, and making the price falls from P1 to P2 to increase the quantity demanded of the product. Is it clear? Do you have any questions about it?